we should
Yeah, good
start and
evening.
kick off. Yeah, good evening, Mr. Biono. So good to see you.
Good evening, Funke. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Very well. It's so nice. And you are looking good. Happy Democracy Day to you.
Same here, Funke. How are you today?
Very well, thank you. So we are live
Same
now,
here.
everyone, with Mr. Biono Babarinde. He is the
Yeah, we
Group
wish you
General
same.
Manager, Corporate Marketing and Corporate Communications, Chari's Group. And that people have been hailing you right now. You have so many great fans online. We have PM Wilson here. He's saying he's got great stuff. Yes, everybody's agreeing with me, Mr. Biono, that you've got great stuff. And we have Kuti who has just joined. Otto Josh is here. I'm waving to everyone to say thank you for joining us with Mr. Biono Babarindi. It's so good to have you here this evening, sir. Mr. Biono, can you hear me?
My pleasure to be here. Yeah, I can
Yes,
hear you
thank you
loud
so
and
much,
clear. It's
sir.
my pleasure.
Yeah, today
Thank you
is
for having me.
Democracy Day. What is your take on Democracy Day? And let's start off with that. It's Democracy Day today.
Well, thank you very much, Funke. It's Democracy Day for us as a people, as a nation. I think it's one of the a watershed in our political terrain as a country. We all, of course, can relate easily to what happened uh, that was some years ago. The
We
most
can hear
important
you.
thing we need to take home it's to say that
Yes.
can we also take it further as a people that if you remember the man.
All right, Mr. Biono, sorry, it was network.
Yeah, that's part of the technology issues we got to face.
Issues,
Okay,
yes.
I
Yes. All
guess
right,
I'm
so
back now.
yes,
Okay,
please.
so talking about June 12th, like I said earlier, it's a watershed in the life span of our country. That was the year the whole world agreed that we actually put together an election that was seen to be free and fair. So, and relating that to the mantra of that period, the hope, for me, I still have the hope that as a people, that means we can still take this country to a better place we all wish to. And like Costaris have celebrated with Nigerians today, we said that actually democracy is a marathon, not a sprint. So we believe that the hope still keeps on, and we hope that the hope will relate to something to the country that we all wish. And altogether, it's all about challenging ourselves. That it takes two to actually make a nation. We can all talk about leadership, and of course, the other side is the followership. So we both have a responsibility to make Nigeria great, and I'm sure by the special grace of God, we will get there.
That's good. That's brilliant. Thanks for that introductory note. So I would like to ask you, Mr. Biono, in your opinion, how much do you think the COVID-19 has impacted on the luxury automobile sector?
Yeah, thank you very much, Funke. The impact of the pandemic, the COVID-19, we want to put it in perspective holistically. Before we even talk about the luxury automobile, I want to say that this pandemic has affected, it's like a game changer. It's affected a whole lot of things as humans in the way we do things, which of course translates to the way we run business. And the uniqueness about this again is that it it took the whole world um, for whatever we can think of, both the good, the bad, and the ugly. So it's not a virus that probably is seated somewhere in the corner of a part of the continent or the universe. So, Funke, I guess I'm back
Mr.
again.
Beno, welcome back. Yes, so sorry about the
Yes,
network
from the
failure.
journey of network. Exactly. So, okay, let's just run.
Yes.
So, basically, the COVID had affected all spheres of our lives and our business. So, it's something that we have to take as a challenge and see how we can turn it to opportunities. Opportunities post-COVID. There will definitely be after this COVID. It's a phase. And what we are all doing as a business for us in Costari's group is to also position ourselves. Again, that has always been the key thing ahead of time. I mean, being proactive. And I'm sure that's why I said that before we talk about the luxury business, we are very aware that Costari's, of course, we're into so many other businesses. And if you look at the flip side of the challenges that came with the COVID, you can say in a very firm manner that Costaris have not done badly in the sense that this is the time, again, you can also take it that this even challenging period is the time some businesses are actually thriving. And that is why I want to take it from the angle that for Costaris farms, of course, you must have seen how we have even used our rise from our farms to do some palliative to support the vulnerables. And that tells you that that side of the business, agriculture generally, is thriving because people must feed. Again, you also know that we are also into technology. Of course, Costari's technology is also very solid at this point in time. People, I mean, this is what we're going through, just like the telecoms. I mean, we all are on the IT space now, whether we like it or not. So that tells you something. Of course, also, you know that we're into logistics. Costari's mobility is also because people are also moving goods from point A to point B, and people also need to. I mean, you can see that there's already traffic on the Strait of Lagos. So for our Costari's mobility, the business is also surviving. And last but not the least, is also our business in terms of medicals. Costari's medicals and bus stats, which also comes very handy in terms of even part of our support to the government and part of, I mean, that tells you the market is also functioning. So coming down to the auto business, which of course majority people knows Costari's for. Of course, before we also talk about the luxury brands we're talking about, we also know that we have some other auto businesses that are not exactly the sales, but the after sales, which is very key, and of course, auto component. And that's why we also pride ourselves in Costa Rica that if you drive any car on the street of Nigeria, you are our customer. Not to talk about even if you are not taking any of our brands, because we supply all the auto components of your car for after sales issues. So coming down to the luxury brand specifically, of course, I'll take it from the perspective that you need to also understand and appreciate how luxury goods generally thrive. Luxury, the word luxury, of course, you have a segment, is a niche market. And that is why you will see that for every luxury product, it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. And because you also have specific market, limited market. So when you take all that into consideration, you can safely say that the issue of the pandemic, yes, definitely is affected. It will affect the numbers, but it won't affect the real ultra HNIs from consuming what they call as part of their lifestyle.
No, that's interesting to know. So, but that would lead me to the next question. Was the sector very optimistic at the start of the year 2020? Were they hoping for a better 2020 at the start of the year?
Yes, definitely.
Oh.
I would say majority of the business sector I mean, started this year with very high optimism that we're going to have a good year. And taking it down to Nigeria as a country, if you also follow our trend from the government angle, the issue of when our budget is being passed, you will appreciate the fact that government plays a very key major factor in businesses, both for private and public sectors. So everybody tends to wait for when the budget by the government will be passed. And that is when you can, of course, tactically plan your own business in line with what the budget is saying. So the optimism started well with us this year in the terms of, in the sense that budget was passed early enough. And again, you look at it that the first quarter is always the quarter where you also strategize and plan before you also get into the real business of the year. But as we have it, and that is where God is not human like you and I. By
Yeah,
February,
you're right.
we all had the rumors, and we thought it was something that is going to be out of Nigeria. In fact, we're all linking it to the Ebola. That's okay. Well, here we are by March, which ironically ends your first quarter. Then here we are, lockdown. So no business, even no individual, started this year, January 1, with this situation where we are. And that is why for every progressive business and human beings is a function of what do you now do. And that's why I said that for us in Costa Rica, we resolved as an entity to turn the challenges to opportunities, and which means you got to re-strategize and reposition yourself, because the most important thing is that your service and offering and your product is not for yourself, it's for your customers. And now it's going to be you got to go ahead of time and create value. And if you also know the payoff of Costa Rica, want to continue what we need to do now. COVID has come, just like we all new normal. I'm even saying the new normal is what we need to look at now. The reality is here in our face. We are not going to sit and suck over it. Yes, the most important thing is to keep to the health issues. Then you can now think of what to do. And that's what we are doing in Costa Rica, is looking at our portfolio altogether.
That's interesting. Well, with the pandemic now, and I was going to refer to one of your statements earlier, what would you expect that investing or you're acquiring a luxury car will top the list of any affluent customer or consumer at this time? What is your take on this?
Yes, like I've issue of consumption of luxury item in the first place has to do with who are the real consumers, who are the real ultra HNI that consumes this product. For us in Costa Rica, and again, you look at it that the reality of our time is that it's a function of, is not what you want now, it's what you need. Yes, you can also put it as a reality check that purchasing cars is not going to be a priority now. But the point is, the luxury aspect of this business is what is important for us to identify. Like I started in my earlier opening comment, the luxury segment is not actually for everybody, with all due respect. So it, with this situation of things now, definitely and clearly, for now, but we believe strongly, because, and that is why even when all these distractions started, the most important thing we kept doing as an organization and as a brand owner is to engage, and because you also look at it that is someone that is alive that is actually going to drive a premium brand. So for us, the safety and the to us, and that is what we've done, so that we are not going to be in this lockdown of COVID-19 for the rest of our year. Yes, we can't put a date to when it's going to stop, but we are very optimistic as a company, as a brand, that come maybe before the end of this year, they're going to have it. And if you look at the luxury automobile business, if you are going to, and that is why it's bespoke, because you're going to spec it, and it's not a function of you are going to pick just a car on the street now. So what we're doing is engaging these customers, and of course, for them, what we are trying to do is to let them know that, of course, I mean, you trust Nigerians, we're car freaks, and you'll be surprised that at the end of these COVID distractions, you'll find out that some of the customers will even want to celebrate the survivor with getting a
Yeah.
brand new machine, like they call it. So for us, it's about positioning ourselves and engaging our customers. Go
Yes.
ahead,
Okay,
Funke.
that's fine. So I was going to say that. Okay, recently you announced the reopening of your service centers and your showrooms.
I,
What are
I
some of the
can hear you.
precautions
That's
you
why
have
I'm
put in
nodding.
place?
Mm.
All right, okay, that's fine. So you recently announced the reopening of your showrooms and service centers. I would like to know, how has business been for you since you reopened these centers?
Yeah, thank you very much, Funke. I think it's important for me to also lay it and identify the fact that for us in Kucharis, we have two very, very important assets we don't joke with. And one of the assets are our staffs, you understand? And the second is our client, our customers. So when we announced that we have reopened, reopening in the sense that we took into consideration all the necessary health guidelines. As I speak to you, going into any of our offices throughout the six geopolitical zones of Nigeria, right from the gates, you're subjected to certain health checks. And you see, the truth of the matter is that while we are also talking about who is going to also give you the health check, and those are our security guards, just like the frontliners, the medicals, you understand, because they are also prone to this. So we've subjected all our security guards into the necessary tests and give them the training, because they are the first point of contact from any outsider. So you are subjected to that. They all have the temperature check, the gun check to check your temperature, and wherever you are coming in to do your business, whether you're coming into offices, you have at every touch point sanitizers. You have water to wash your hands and what have you. Now, coming back to the auto business, the automobile aspect, because like I mentioned to you, part of the things before the line went off the other time is that apart from even looking at selling, because the after sales, that's also one of the peak area that we are also getting a lot of patronage now, because the fact remains that if you cannot purchase new cars now, the logical thing is that you want to maintain what you have. And again, that also gives us as Costaris the edge, because taking the franchise and representing all the iconic brands we represent also tells you that we give you the 360 degrees customer experience of the brand. So we don't just sell. Like I always say, I mean, a brand new car is a good car, but your after sales is key. So I'm part of our after sales, talking about if you go to any centers, you're subjected into the wash bay. customer care service advisors. You are going to go through all those processes of making sure that we safeguard you coming as our customer, and we safeguard your car and our staffs. You see, those are three key elements in this circle of the COVID-19 challenges, because anybody, it's just like I said, it's just like a doctor-patient relation. So between our after-sales team and you coming into our facility, we took into consideration all those necessary precautions. And in fact, by communicating these, because you also need to give that confidence to your customer. Again, you also want to be sure that you are also not just opening your doors for anybody into control. Of course, things like social distancing and what have you. So we went as far as even placing this. If you check on our website, if you check all our social media handles, we even did a video to
All right.
definitely. Can you hear me? Yeah.
All right.
Can
Okay.
you
I'm
hear
so
me now?
sorry about. Yes, I
Yeah.
can. I can. We can all hear you now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Unfortunately,
welcome back.
we have to deal with these telecoms issues.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
let's just
Yes. All right.
so anyway, so talking about all that is to safeguard both our customers and our staffs. And like I was trying to share that all these processes, even the video of what you stand to encounter in terms of our checks for the health, the COVID health check, have been also uploaded on our social media handles, so that you as a customer, you can even know what you're likely to see and to get when you get to any of our facilities beyond even the workshop end. So I think, and we are doing well. And again, by extension, because of the issue of social distancing, and because we know that a lot of customers will want to bring their cars, which has been parked for so long. So we are also encouraging and advising that customers should call our customer care team to book the situation where you are having a crowded workshop, and those are the things that have been. And I think generally it's been awesome, and we believe we've been delighting our customers with those services.
Well, that's very interesting, Mr. Abiona, to know. But with the post-COVID now, obviously, you will need to strategize your marketing plans. So, what are some of the new strategies you hope to employ post-COVID?
Yes, thank you very much. Again, that is given in the sense that we all find ourselves in this situation. But you see, it's a little bit not a hard sell for us in Coast, especially when it comes into our auto business, especially when we're talking specifically on the the luxury segment of our business. Because when you are also positioning your luxury automobile business, it is more and more of 95 to 99.9% direct marketing. It's more of personal sales, it's more of close engagement with the customers that actually patronize your luxury. And that is why marketing luxury automobile, it's not expected to be what I would call the regular lousy or noisy marketing activations. So what we have is that before COVID, our strategy has always been to have a very close, direct engagement with our customers. But we're taking it a step forward now, and that is why you will see us that again, even before the COVID, of course, the cars we are talking about are technologically driven, and now we're talking of virtual showrooms. So what we are also doing now is taking our showrooms to the comfort zone of this customer. So you can even spec, because you also want to keep to the health instruction of social distancing. So, in as much as you don't also want to stress and stretch your customers, again, you are taking what we are trying to also do now is like giving you a virtual showroom. So, we are taking our showroom to your doorsteps, so you can even spec in the comfort of your living room. What kind of next new car?
That's
Is it a
interesting.
Jaguar? Is it a BMW? Or is it a Rolls Royce? And those are things that we're putting in place. And I can tell you that we're engaging. And because even the salesman doesn't need to practically go visit the customer. You understand? So you have, I mean, all this technology gadgets are the work tools we all use now, and we use it effectively. And of course, with the support, great support of our OEMs, our partners, because we have a whole lot of global marketing materials that we share. So if you're picking a BMW, a Jaguar, a Range Rover, or the Rolls Royce, you don't actually have to visit the Costari showroom. All you need is just to even get engaged on any of our platforms, call a phone call to any of the sales team members, and here you go. You have a very robust conversation, and you are going to be given the car of your choice via phone, via different apps, and maybe even through the system, and you email us and what have you. Those are things that we've been doing before COVID, and that's why I said that for luxury brand, COVID has not changed so much about how we position our brand. And what is going to also come that we are also going to be doing in the few months, by God's grace, if this COVID gets out of our lives. And again, I hope, Funke, you are not trying to make me share our marketing
No, it is.
strategies on the
Yes,
street.
please. You
But
have to
again,
be, luxury podcast
but
should be the
again,
first to
we
report
we don't hide that because we have always been leading the pack, and so it's not a big deal. But again, our customers, the loyalty is one thing that we cherish. So also watch out for
it.
Costaris to also start what we call the virtual launch, introducing our new variants into the market without even necessarily to bring all the crowd in there. So we can do all these virtually, and we are trying to work on that. And I think it's important. I also mentioned to you that our after sales deliverables is what is also at the front burner now that we are making use of. And you see, when I mentioned it earlier that you can always get any brand new car anywhere, but again, your after sales is key. There's no car that doesn't go back, even if it is for the basic oil check. And that is why we pride ourselves as being able to give you the 360-degree experience of any of our brand, whether it's BMW, whether it's Rolls Royce, whether it's the Jaguar or the Range Rover. And that is why we also structure our offerings to you to maintain and sustain the global experience you will have. You understand? And when you're talking of your after sales, it's also keyed into three segments in terms of you can have you need to have the original part. The original part is very key for you to deliver your after sales. Now you can have that original part, but if you don't have the right tools to fix those parts, it's also a challenge. Now, Funke, you can have the right tools and have the original part. If you don't have the right personnel to fix this too is also a bigger challenge for you. And luxury cars are not cars you want to toy with. So in Costaris, and that is why our franchise covers all this, and that is the peace of mind we will always give you. So at this point in time, when after sales expectedly is going to be the mainstay of most of the customers, even across board. Like I said, the reality is yes, you may not be able to pick any car now, but you want to maintain what you have in your garages. And I can tell you that we have even gone a step forward for some of our luxury brands to give you home service because we
Wow.
also move into your garage and even do what we call the basic health check. for you, because again, we want to also safeguard you as our client. We don't want you to go and stress, because between your home and our office, a whole lot of things could happen. So we also go extra mile to give you that. And again, if it is something that we need to now bring to the workshop, of course, that also becomes the second phase. So you need to have those three, and those three are the things we will deliver continually for our brands, for our customers, in terms of original parts, in terms of the right tools, in terms of certified technicians. I mean, these are people that Costaris have invested on over the years, and that is why whatever experience you have on a BMW in Costaris is what you stand to have probably with a BMW in Munich. Same thing goes with the Jaguar Land Rover here in Costaris, is what you also stand to have when you get to UK. And same thing with the Rolls Royce. What you have here is what you have anywhere you have the. So that experience is what we always try to do. So COVID or no COVID, Costaris has always been positioned to give you and delight the customers. And I think that is what we will continue to do. Of course, we evolve over time, and we also see how we can also excite the customers beyond that.
Yeah, that's very brilliant, Mr. Biono. And I'm happy you mentioned that Costeri is going virtual, even with your car presentation and even your marketing strategy. But no, the call has been now for luxury sector to fully embrace online and online as a platform of making sales and all that. Do you think the sector after post-COVID is ready and fully ready to embrace online marketing and online sales?
Well, thank you, Funke. I hope I won't be repeating myself in the sense that I said earlier that for us in Costaris, the online marketing. Now you also need to distinguish this. Of course, the general phrase is saying marketing, the online marketing. We are also talking about, for us, we are even talking of online sales. You understand? Because the marketing is just going to give you the positioning of the brands, to tell you the brands that are available. The sales to tell you even post-COVID, before COVID, and that has been, we've empowered our sales team with all the necessary IT gadgets. And of course, with this COVID, we're going to enhance that in a bigger way, that without any physical engagement between you and the prospect, you can actually do your sales online. And that is what we're saying. Of course, I'm not saying to you that you can actually do payment and whatever, but we'll take you to the step of 90% or 95%. Then you are talking of now call to action, which is now the eventual purchase. So for us, and that's why we said that you have us on the Instagram page, you have us on our YouTube, you have us on our Twitter page handles, you have us on our Facebook. And again, you know that the brands we represent are globally respected brands that are actually already ahead of this. And that's why I'm saying that we are not reacting to the issue of COVID. It's something that is like part of our DNA. I'm sure you know that you can actually spec a BMW from wherever you are, and same thing with a Jaguar Land Rover, same thing with a Rolls Royce. So, and we have all those. That's why I said that it's more of one-on-one direct engagement with these customers. You understand? And these are not customers. A regular HNI is not likely to be a lousy person that wants to even let anybody knows that he or she is doing a purchase. So I can say is a coded
Yes.
coded engagement of relationship. But again, the coded is not for any negative things, but for that reservation. I mean, the HNI is calm. He wants to enjoy his money. It's part of his lifestyle, and that's why he sees it as something he would take from time to time. So coming into online thing, it's something that has been there. and we just need to enhance it and make it more robust so that we are also now back into our database from time to time. So I think that we are already doing and we would continue to do and do very well.
Well, that's interesting. But do you think the luxury automobile sector will rebound in the second half of the year?
Second half of the year, Funke, we've started the second half, if I'm correct with my calendar. We're
Mm.
already in the month of June, and
June,
the
yes.
reality check is that we are still all in the pandemic challenges. So for us, let our customers and our staff survive the health issues, then we can be talking of it's a dead body don't patronize any product. So, and that is why part of the things we continue to do is to engage our customers to stay safe, to keeping safe wherever they are, while we will transact this business virtually. And again, coming to your questions directly, um, I don't think any business can categorically say that, okay, second half is a rebound because just like January this year, we all had our projection. And again, with the realities on our ground, with the numbers of casualties still rising by the day, you just want to make sure that your assets, like I mentioned earlier, for us in Post-Covid, the assets are our customers and our staffs. For them to be in this good state of mind, health-wise, is because is a technician that is healthy that is going to fix a car. So, but what we are also doing for this period is to also strategize and position. I mean, the constant engagement with our OEMs is very key. That's what we're doing with our partners because, you know, the partners and the markets are all over. So we're exchanging notes and we are also positioning ourselves proactively to whenever this COVID pandemic thing is going to go off. And I can tell you that just like it started, you know, it didn't start in in all the countries at the time. And as we've had, some countries are probably out of it. I mean, it's countries like that okay, you can answer because we're talking of manufacturing here. And you see, when you are also doing manufacturing, you are talking of human element. And now you are talking of social distancing, which means you are going to also reduce the number of your work, of your personnel maybe you are doing 2 shifts before, you are now going to do 4 shifts because you want. So it's also going to slow down the numbers you throw out of your factories before you also chip in. You know, we don't manufacture any of these luxury cars there. So all that is also going to be taken into consideration. And of course, with the naira and dollar also not really gelling with the right indices. So all this, what you're doing is also to make sure that you are well positioned to when we have the green light as a country. And again, I think that is important. Just like while we are engaging our partners on the best way forward, we're also engaging our customers. And this too takes a whole chunk of whatever strategy you are going to. So when you're talking of second half, it's a tall order. But what I can say from the benefit of hindsight is that give or take, I think before, not even just about the luxury automobile industry now, business generally. I mean, my own personal view is that before we can get any positive traction, maybe it will get us to early of quarter 4. And that tells you about October thereabout. And which, if I also put my marketing cap on, is also a peak period that is good for us. And like I said earlier, I trust Nigerians and we see a lot of our customers rebounding to even celebrate surviving this COVID with purchasing a brand new car from Costa. So quarter 4 is more like it for me, but if we are lucky, we will have a quarter 3. for quarter two, it's still neither here nor there.
Oh, that's great. We hope things pick up. Anyway, thanks for those insightful and comments to our questions. And before I take the last few questions that I have a question here for one of our viewers. His name is the PM Wilson, and he's asking that for younger folks building up in the career world, how can they own a car by making monthly repayment plan arrangements with Coscharis?
Yes, why not? There are certain things that are very key to giving, because from what that question says, is to talk about auto financing, that probably you can
Yes,
get
yes, you're right.
some financial backup to, of course. And I can tell you for free, if you have been following us for years, Coach Charis has been one of the pace setters of auto financing in Nigeria. And if you recall, in fact, we led the pack by having very two strong financial institutions in the country that are known to have specialized in auto financing. And those two banks, we partner with them over the years. But again, the reality of our time is that auto financing can only dwell in a country where your currency rates don't fluctuate over time. You and I know that we don't produce any of these cars there. And by the time the banks are also struggling with rates here and there. So by the time you also take the facility from a bank, because you have to take it from a bank. In fact, the robust package we had then was that you can walk into any of these two banks. Once you are from Costaris, that you have identified a car you want to pick, you can walk into any of these two banks and get your facility. You don't even have to be a customer of that bank, because those are the stringent rules those days that competitors we attach. We broke those barriers. And again, you know that the beauty and the advantage of you coming to Costa Rica is that you have varieties of brands to pick. You understand? From the budget brand down to the so-called luxurious brand. So the challenge was what topped that for a while. And I put the word for a while. I mean, just like now we are all distracted with the COVID thing. So we need to have the rebound of the economy, because I can tell you that that is actually the way to go to encourage the younger ones. I mean, young executives can walking into any of our car mats, pick. I mean, once you have some collaterals at the banks, because that's nothing. It's not about the auto dealership 100%. You have to deal with the financial institutions, and the financial institutions too. They also have to get their own criteria as well. So that we hope that once the economy is back to normal, and of course our exchange rate issues, you can imagine what the dollar to naira is as of today. You understand, and of course you know that everything also depends, if not 100%, on our oil uh, sector. And of course, anything that happens to the global issue on the oil output also affects us. So all those indices, macroeconomic factors that, I mean, we don't have control over. But we also hope this will be fixed, because that also what makes car purchase to be fun. And of course, for us as the ones that want to sell, like I will tell you, you always have the Ford you can afford with Costaris. So, but let's just also wait till we get there.
Oh, that's just brilliant. So we are wrapping up soon. We have just 5 minutes left. But before we go, I would like to answer these two questions quickly. Normally, every year, automobile or luxury automobile, or generally automobile brands they release their new car at the end of a year to the beginning of another year. So do you think with this COVID-19 that your luxury brands are going to do that this year? You know, to release 2021 car in 2020 and all that.
Yes, those are part of the business decisions that have to be taken by partners and looking at what, because it's not also a function of you just want to unveil a brand new car, but you want to, even COVID or no COVID, you want to unveil and position it right because you want to also continue to delight and keep your key critical customers. And like I mentioned to you, even the unveil you're talking about, before the unveil, tell you for free that most hot leads have already been engaged with these new models that are coming in. So speaking to your question directly, of course, we have a couple of new models that have been earmarked to be unveiled. And if you also notice, I mean, you've covered a lot of auto business. You will notice that most of our manufacturers, most of our own partners, they take a very strategic platform, all the global auto shows to unveil, to officially unveil this before it trickles down to other markets like ours. So, but I can say to you that for BMW, we have uh, some new variants that are meant to be unveiled into our market. Our Jaguar Land Rover brand. But I can say to you that we'll have our official unveil of our Defender, the new Defender. That's a 2020 version. Of course, we're also looking at our BMW 5 Series. You are part of the X7, the BMW
Yes,
X7 and
yes,
the
I was
7
yes.
Series we
Yeah.
launched. So now, exactly. And of course, for the Rolls Royce, we're also expecting to have the new Ghost and the new Phantom introduced into the market. So all these variants are still in the pipeline of our launches, and those are the ones I mentioned to you that we are now going to be doing things differently in a unique way that will be unveiling to you while you are resting in your bedroom, and you will be able to engage with these machines. So those are plans that are there, but again, it's also subject to a whole lot of variables. Looking at all those things, you know, we need to get this distraction of the pandemic out of our lives, and again, before we can get that, and that is why for us, it's about keep safe first, and we will definitely excite you with fantastic, iconic brands we are known for.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Biono, for being a part of our chat this evening.